I learned the 23rd Psalm when I was in Mrs. Lottie Moore's 4th grade Bible class, all boys. And she gave us, because I memorized it, a little plaque, a wall plaque, with a picture of Jesus surrounded by the sheep. I don't know what I ever did with that. But I think another little boy probably memorized the 23rd Psalm as well, so that in later life, Jesus could say, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. I started in radio full-time in my last year of high school, 1943. That was before you were born. And I had a sign-on shift for 2 hours, and then I had the afternoon shift, which incorporated all the kids' programs. Tom Mix, Captain Midnight, Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy, and Little Orphan Annie. And I decided, that was in 1943, that I wanted to spend my life announcing. Unfortunately, the war was going on, and Uncle Sam had other plans. So I joined the Merchant Marine, but when I came out, I wanted to go back and learn announcing. I did 2 things. I, first of all, enrolled in Biola, which at that time was called the Bible Institute of Los Angeles. And then I enrolled in a course with UCLA in cooperation with NBC. And the classrooms were over at their iconic studios at the corner of Sunset and Vine, which have long since been torn down and made into a bank building, and NBC moved across town to Burbank. But our teacher for announcing was a fellow by the name of Frank Barton. He was the chief announcer for NBC West. All that called upon was to go in the backstage door just at the end of a commercial program, push a button to have the GEC chime ring. It was all automatic. And all he had to say, this is the National Broadcasting Company. I thought that was wonderful. Yeah. But the thing that he taught us was that in every sentence, as an announcer, there is a word or several words that need to be what he called punched. And so you should underline them or circle them. I don't think we had those things that, highlighters. I don't think we had them then. So as I was thinking about the 23rd Psalm, what word would you highlight? I mean, every one of those 5 words is significant. The Lord is my shepherd. 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 So let me run that by you, if I may, for just a few moments. The is the definite article. It means there is no other, except that Oprah Winfrey said there are 12 ways to God. No, Miss Winfrey, there's not even 1.5. There's only one. Jesus said it best in John 14:6. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me. And then the word, the Lord, in your text there. Why do you have that open to Genesis?
Well, I don't, you didn't tell me what page.
It's in caps, which means that's the highest name for God, Yahweh. Be a great word for Wheel of Fortune because it has no vowels. But it means Jehovah, the covenant keeper, the I am, the eternal one. What more could we ask for a day like this in Nashville? The Lord is my shepherd. Right now, right this minute, even in this room, even as confused as I am. There was a president a few years back who got into a little moral dust-up, and he tried to get his way out of it by saying, it all depends on your definition of what is. No, Bill. Is means right now. The Lord is my shepherd. There's the difference, the personal pronoun. Martin Luther said that the heart of the gospel is the use of the personal pronouns. And in this 23rd Psalm, there are 17 of them. Little boy was dying of leukemia. Pastor tried to see him every day, usually on his way home from work. And the little boy had selected this 23rd Psalm as his favorite. And he would say repeatedly, the Lord is my shepherd, the Lord is my shepherd. And the pastor told him very frankly, he said, son, sometime you're not going to feel like saying that, so just let the fingers of this hand brush over the tips of this. And when you come to "The Lord is my," stay there, shepherd. He died a few days later. His parents couldn't understand why they found him with his left hand clasping onto his right ring finger. But he was telling them, "The Lord is my shepherd." And then why shepherd? Why not teacher? Or what I need, a personal trainer or a psychologist? Anything, but why shepherd? Because we're so lost, we're so hopeless, we're so helpless. 176 times in the Bible it talks about sheep and shepherd. And as we think about that, it comes to mind that wonderful writing of before Jeremiah. All we like sheep have gone astray, Isaiah. And we've turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him, Messiah, the iniquity of us all. We need the shepherd. The next four words simply ring out with simplicity because they're all monosyllabic. I shall not want. The rabbinical tradition says that those four words are used at the end of each phrase in this 23rd Psalm. He makes me to lie down in green pastures, I shall not want. He leadeth me beside the still waters, I shall not want. He restores my soul, I shall not want. I like all of that, but I like better what the little girl said in Sunday school. The Lord is my shepherd. He's all that I want. And that's true. We had an interesting Christmas this year because we had the opportunity of seeing our two great-grandchildren. Little Rachel is 3 years old. That's Jim's granddaughter. And Rachel in Hebrew means little lamb, which is what she is. She came in the door. Her younger brother was being carried by one of her parents, and she had her arms loaded with books and dolls. And something I've never seen before, maybe you have, a pink iPad. And when she saw Peggy's big television, flat screen television, here's what she said. "Oh, goody, the internet." I have to confess, I don't remember anything from when I was 3. Well, maybe one or two things. But I'm sure it wasn't goody, the internet. The day wore on and little Rachel wore out. And she got a little cranky, as little kids do, as well as older people, by the way. And her daddy, who just graduated from Deerfield, the Trinity Evangelical Seminary, with his doctorate in theology. He's a brilliant fellow. He said, trying to comfort Rachel, "Well, what do you want? Do you want your books? Do you want your toys? Do you want your iPad? What do you want, Rachel?" And she teared up, and she said, "Daddy, I don't know what I want." And we say, "Papa, Abba, we don't know what we want, but we know we need you, so give us what we need." We've got a couple of more minutes before Ron has to leave us for his call to the president. So let me cheat just a little bit and take a few other thoughts from the crown jewel of the 23rd Psalm, which is the 3rd verse. "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Don't leave out, for thou art with me." But he's talking about death. I mean, did the Spirit of God make a mistake? I mean, shouldn't this be at the end of the psalm? That's when death comes. No, we don't know what a day may bring forth. We don't know when God is going to call us home. If you could find the entrance to this place, you might step out and be hit by a potato truck. You don't know. So Frank Barton would say, "Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, My best friend when I was growing up was a fellow by the name of Earl Croft. We played almost every day. We were out in the country, up in the mesa of Santa Barbara, and this was some years ago. There weren't too many homes there. We lived up on a hill, not a big hill, but you'd go down, and then you'd go up Cliff Drive, I think it is now, and there's a big culvert down below. I suppose a stream goes through when they have rain. And then you get up to the top of the hill, then you walk across, and then you go down Los Olos, because Ron had a pastorate in Santa Barbara. When did they throw you? When did you leave? 89. We used to play every day. And the most wonderful part of the day was when Mrs. Croft would say, "Would you like to stay for dinner?" Oh, would I? I mean, my mom wasn't a bad cook, but we had broccoli and Brussels sprouts and what Max Lucado calls aspergrass. But she had real food. I mean, she would serve macaroni and cheese with plenty of sharp cheese. And then she had burgers, and she had hot dogs, and she made the most wonderful apple pie. And the piece de resistance, chocolate cake. Oh, this is nothing to what she had. But then it came time to leave. I was okay when I went out the front door because the porch light was on, but not too long going up Los Olos, the light went out. And there were no street lights in those days. And as I walked up the hill, what was that? There's something that moved in the bushes. I went on, and then I heard it again. So even though it was a hill, I walked as fast as I could up to the top. And I was sure somebody was following me. And I looked around, but I didn't see anyone, so I started a trot across the flat part. And when I got to that culvert, I was sure there was somebody down there underneath the pepper trees, which were foreboding as it was. So I ran down the rest of the hill, up the little hill to our house, into the front door, closed the door, locked the door. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 6, it says, by translation, "Those who know the Lord shall not be made to walk in haste." We don't have to run through the experiences of life. God is there to take us. And you don't wander in that valley. It says that he takes us through. It's not in, but it's through. As the pastor said, my favorite verse is, and it came to pass, because troubles don't come to stay. They come to pass. Yea, though I walk through the valley. Oh, I got a perfect illustration. We're here. How long do we have? How long did you pay up for this room? I got a perfect illustration. Years ago, when I was with NRB, our main man was Dr. Ben Armstrong. He had all kinds of ideas. I'll not go into that. But he worked out a deal with a travel agent who was hoping that he would get us to schedule our own tours later on. And the travel agent arranged tours for the executive committee and their wives to go to Europe, all expenses paid, the best hotels, the best restaurants, the best accommodations. And my favorite was in Switzerland. There's a little town called Gruyere. Gruyere is a valley. Either side is loaded with beautiful green grass, and the cattle were there chewing their cuds to their heart's content. Oh, there was a little stream that ran through the bottom. Then they showed us how they made the cheese at Gruyere. And then they took us in and set us down and gave us bowls of fresh raspberries with clotted cream. I don't know whether you remember that. Oh, yeah. But that's not what David's talking about. The valley he's talking about is not like this. It's like this. And there is no green grass. And there is no little stream running through it. And it's dark, and it's cold, and it's foreboding. Oh, look up there at the top of the cliff. There are your enemies. They're ready with big boulders to roll down upon you. And if you successfully escape being hit by one of those, They have handfuls of dirt that they're ready to throw down and get in your face. Anything that would impede your progress. That's the valley he's talking about. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow. Shadow can't hurt you. Shadow is a replication of the real thing. The best 15 years of my life were working for Richard DeHaan in Radio Bible Class. We recorded the music in Southern California, and then I studied the music as much as I could, and we went to Cypress Gardens, Florida, and put it all together. My habit was to get a cassette player, I don't know whether they still have them, but play the tapes with a dictation machine in this hand, and just walk down the shoreline in Long Beach because there were no waves, and there were hardly any people there, so you were never disturbed. And I was oblivious to anything around me until one day I was doing it, and I looked up. Here came a German Shepherd, bounding down the way, followed by a little boy who was hollering, obviously, the dog's name. He had lost the leash. He had lost the hold of it. I need to tell you that when I was in second grade walking home, I had to walk about a mile there in Santa Barbara, Peabody School, if you remember that. I was bitten by a German Shepherd, and I didn't have the fondest love for them, nor do I today. Just before it seemed like the dog was going to jump up on me, that little boy was able to secure the leash. And then, trying to comfort me, she said, "Don't worry, mister, he don't bite." I would much prefer to have him say, "Don't worry, mister, he don't got no teeth." Listen, the monster death don't got no teeth. They were knocked out by Christ on Calvary's cross. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I like what Rick Warren says. He says that death is not leaving home. It's coming home, and it is. I will fear no evil. We used to work with Lloyd Ogilvie, producing his weekly telecast called Let God Love You before he went on to the chaplaincy of the Senate. He has counted them. He says there are 366 fear nots in the Bible, one for each day. And if you have a really bad day, you get an extra one. And of course, from the lips of Christ, the most repeated words are just those two, fear not. And the reason we don't have to fear is because God is with us. He is our shepherd. Grandpa was celebrating his 75th birthday. He'd never been up in an airplane before. So his family chipped in together, and they saw to it that a local pilot flew him around the place where he grew up. And when he came back, he was so excited. He had seen his school. He had seen his church. He had seen all those people like little ants. And he said, "I'm ready to go again." And happily, the family was delighted that their surprise worked. So they went out to the buffet table. But Grandpa's favorite granddaughter held him back, and she said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Did you really like it?" "Oh," he said, "I loved it. There was nothing like it. I saw all the places where I grew up all those years. I loved it." "Did you really?" "Well, all the time I was up there, I never really put my full weight down." Sometimes that's the way we go through life. Occasionally, with insomnia, I find myself lifted off the bed. Relax. Put your full weight down. He is the Good Shepherd. If Johnny were here, and she will be tonight at 8:30 for the sing, I hope you'll be here. You're going to have a little conflict with the Bible starting. Is that on the History Channel tonight? Go to the sing instead. Everything you did this morning, shower, shave, put on your makeup, brush your teeth, put your clothes on, Johnny's had to have somebody else do that for nearly 47 years, not just on the weekends, not just Monday through Friday, but every single day of the year. But if Johnny were here, she'd say, "Let's sing something." So let's. And will you join me in singing? Savior, like a shepherd lead us, Much we need thy tender care, and thy pleasant pastures feed us. For our use thy folds prepare. Blessed Jesus, blessed Jesus, thou hast loved us, love us still. Blessed Jesus, blessed Jesus, thou hast loved us, love us still. Well, it's not the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, but have a great day. Thank you.